Um, it's Sergeant Deleon, 2014, retired medically through the Army, and I am Ora Valley, Arizona, one tour, Iraq 2009, 2010, where I sustained two head injuries, one back injury, and a right hand injury. All right. The head injuries, which were two head injuries, were overshadowed by the pain and the injury of the back. So dealing with anything that had to do with pains throughout my body that I sustained in Iraq were overshadowed by this injury to my back. So in a skinny, that's what is going on with me. Now, if you haven't been following, that's what I try to do, is make it really short so people can catch up to figure out what's going on with me. Why are you on this thing? What are you talking about? I don't understand. Well, that's what it is. So I was medically retired in 2014 from the Army, and it's just been a mess since then. Coming back, sustained two head injuries, one back injury, one hand injury. It is almost impossible to evaluate and assess for a medical condition once you're out of the service. Now, depending on your service connection, whether you followed some of the protocol to have your medical information, all your ducks in line, you're going to have less of a problem. But that's not how the real world works. Okay, so everybody's got it all figured out until the shit happens to you. Okay, so bear with me, have some patience a little bit, and I'll try to explain everything I can in a nutshell. All right. But as I said, I am Sergeant DeLeon. I was retired 2014, officially, medically, honorably. And I had two head injuries. The head injuries were overmasked by the worst pain I had, which was a back injury. And no one would have known what it was causing to this day a motor movement dysfunction throughout my body, which is about 85 to 90% dysfunction throughout my entire body. And it is a unique situation. It's not something that somebody cannot figure out. It's not alien, in nature. It's a TBI. It's just it took on a political twist to my case, and so now I'm dealing with not just the injury, but policies and procedures that are hurting me more than they are helping, because they're not being applied to my situation. Especially, like I just said, getting out of the service puts you in a purgatory if you are trying to do anything that is outside of the standard. Okay, so if you have an injury, in other words, and you got hurt in the service, and you're getting ready to retire, and it's not very clear of this injury, how it happened, where you got it, time, date, everything, who, what, when, where, why. Right? Once you're out of the service, and this goes for everybody, doesn't matter. You're going to have a little bit of difficulty, depending on how severe the injury is, to making sure that it is properly evaluated, accounted for, service connected. right? It's just, that's the nature of this beast. That's the way this works. So it's not just attacking me, but it attacks everybody. All right. So I've been posting on here every now and again, and so an update for myself, advocating for my medical condition to try to get the Veterans Health Administration, the Veterans Health Affairs, and Veterans Health Medical, and any one of those. It's been since 2011. I got back home stateside 2010, but I say 2011 because it was very difficult for anybody to understand what was going on with my medical situation after when I first started to lose the motor function of my body parts. So it was difficult to understand what was going on. So I give the VA and the medical community here in Tucson and Oro Valley a little bit of wiggle room to say, we just did not know. This is 2010, 11-ish, when I got back. So my tour was 2009, got back 2010, and simply, got a back surgery, and after that happened, I started to lose motor function of my legs because the nature of the injury I had sustained head and my back, it's all included. It took on a life of its own. It really did. It created its own little monster that is something that I have learned since 2011 till today, that it's why does it have to be difficult? Why did it have to be so a injury in nature that is very rare, and so it made it much more difficult for me to address it. And trust me, so since 2011, right, 2010, 11, after I started losing motor function, you could guess at what was going on within doctors' mind, thinking, what's this guy talking about? When you had, I've been through all the scenarios. You could probably figure out all the scenarios going through with no, I got it overseas, and I'm trying to explain to these medical professionals who are the gatekeepers in our communities, the doctors, the nurses, all these people with authority. They call the shots. So it sounds like a fraud, right? It sounds like I'm trying to fraud the system because, one, it's a unique injury, right? And two, I didn't go through the proper, oh, hey, I injured myself, the standard of reporting it, because there was nothing really to report except for something that I had gotten injured with, and it was something I thought I could control. It was just an everyday injury, right? Like it didn't hurt as bad as I thought it was, but all that is at this point is not as important as what I'm going to explain to you next. Okay, and that gives me the update for my medical case, Sergeant De Leon, 2023, and I have been advocating for myself since 2011, and what that means is that I have been contacting anyone that would listen and try to help me piece my medical situation, my case together, and help me move forward with it. Okay, so I at the same time, I started to realize that I was alone, that I had to advocate for myself with the VA and everybody else that I came in contact with, was when I was trying to get into some of the programs that are supposed to help, like, for instance, Disabled Veterans of America, or DAV, any of the veteran um, affairs, offices that you go to help them, so you can file. I've been through so many programs through the VA and outside the VA to try to get one of these organizations that are there to help us, to help me put my ducks in order, to say, look, yes, we do understand your scenario, because it's not uncommon. It's very, very common. Okay, and in saying that, I do give credit to the military, to they're very good at repeating what they're trying to teach a soldier. So they did let us know, and I do recall it a lot. I do recall it that the military, the Army, would drill it in us and say, if you get injured, this is very general. It's a very general statement, but their job is to drill it in you. When you're in the heat of the moment, and you get injured, you need to report it. Please, you guys help me. Well, they don't say please. Nobody in the Army says please, but they want you to report every single thing, because they know it can turn into a mess. It's happened. It's still happening. So they try to do the best they can to make it muscle memory. Okay, so that way, even if you get a little pricker, in your foot, they want you to report it somehow. I know it's not that important, but that's what they want you to do, to make it a common thing. And as well as I do, everyone knows as well as I do, is that when something happens to you, you self-evaluate and classify it right there on the spot. So if you feel like you can move on, you do. And that's what I did. Okay? And that's what millions of people do. All right, so it wasn't anything that was so unusual that, oh my God, the person got injured and didn't report it. No, there's no conspiracy. There's no, conflict of me doing my duty overseas. Okay, missions first, and these were just your typical everyday injuries that I thought I can handle, which anybody thinks they can handle. And so they were significant enough so that I had to get surgery on my back, because it was swelling up the spinal cord. They had to do a laminectomy, which is they cut off some of the bone that surrounds the spinal cord to release the pressure. So they did that, and everything else was pretty much the culprit, which is a traumatic brain injury. So with the traumatic brain injury, it was lying. It was just sitting there, and this is a short period of time, folks. It's between 2010, 2011ish in the beginning. It would seem like a long time once you start punching the numbers, but it's really a short period of time. I was doing everything I can, because I was not familiar with having motor dysfunction. I mean, who is, unless you have Parkinson's, or you have some sort of injury that severs the spinal cord, or your disease, multiple sclerosis. So I was trying to figure out what was going on, and after a little while, I started to connect the dots, right? So within this time, all right, within this time, this was this was a crucial time in the very beginning, because as I was, I came back, and as soon as I came back, I needed to work. So I jumped on the Homeland Security border mission with the Army, and working with Border Patrol. And so in hindsight, that did not help me to show that, while you're working, you couldn't, you weren't that badly injured. So, how were you working if you had such a severe injury, right? And that's part of what's going on with my evaluation, with me claiming the TBI. And so, that's workable. I can work that through. But here's the most important part about that. I have no one in the Army, no one in the Border Patrol job that I was doing with the Army and the Homeland Security. No one was supporting me to help me to put all my ducks in order and say, "Oh, you just got back from a tour. Hey, let's get you situated because this could turn into a mess." I had not one single person to help me adjust all that information getting back, to put it in order so that way I can have a smooth transition into claiming this traumatic brain injury. So that's why I'm advocating for myself. I'm trying to get your guys' help to do anything to help me get my house in order, my medical situation in order, and I've tried to do it myself. I've been doing everything that I've been told to do. Get into this program, get into that program, go over here, talk to this, and these are all legitimate programs through the VA. The Order of Purple Heart. If you had, when you get into these programs, these programs want it easy. They want an easy case. They want it, black and white, cut and dry. All right. But if your case is complicated, it's not going to be good. So, it was very misleading, to say the least, because as I was trying to go through these programs and doing what they were telling me to do, which is go get a MRI, do all the medical standards that would help me, get a traumatic brain injury evaluation, and then just move forward with it. But it didn't work out that way. So misleading, absolutely misleading at the beginning. And so when you stop and you think about it, time has already passed, and it goes in the blink of an eye. Right? It goes in the blink of an eye. And at the same time I'm doing that, I'm getting worse. I'm losing more motor function. I'm having all these strange conditions happen to me. Going to the hospital. I mean, it must be an enormous amount of money that has been spent on just trying to figure out what's going on with me. And I mean an enormous amount of money. Okay, this is taxpayer money. So while trying to get these ducks in order, being misled through, and God bless it, because the DAV they're just trying to do the best they can. The Order of Purple Heart, the Veterans Affairs, all these organizations that are supposed to help veterans, they're trying to do the best they can, but they also don't have the proper. They didn't have the proper training. They still don't have the proper training. All they want to do in every one of these organizations is to have an easy button. Okay, so if you have a complicated case and it requires some elbow grease to get in there and start, getting these medical professionals on the same page as you are, it's going to be nearly impossible. All right. So, so that's why I've been advocating for myself since 2010, 11ish, because one, I've been misled since the beginning with all the programs that are supposed to help the veteran. Poor leadership. These people in these programs were dependent. They were dependent on, information on the computer that, was your very standard operating procedure. Go get an MRI. Well, that's one of the first things they ask for is an MRI, right? To get some proof of it. So, and then once you get the MRI, whatever the reading is for the MRIs or the blood test or whatever it is they're testing, if it comes out not conclusive, if it comes out negative and they don't see anything, then they have to follow that protocol. And so you keep going in circles and circles and circles with this thinking, well, how am I losing freaking motor function? You guys can't see what's going on in my brain, right? And so you start doing the research, you start learning that the vast majority of TBIs that people have, unless you have a pole going through your head, they cannot see the damage if it's in your brain with cells and that small. It's almost impossible to see because function is one thing, damage is another, right? And if you're in my case, where it's even a more unique injury that I had sustained because there was more than one injury that caused, what I have today, it's going to be nearly impossible to detect it. Okay, but again, I have learned that there's thousands and thousands of people that have TBIs, whether you're military or not. You get in accidents, car accidents, bike accidents, whatever. It's almost impossible to detect that dysfunctional cell to cell, function in your brain because it gets complicated, right? It gets very complicated, and once you start doing that, it gets very boring to try to explain to somebody what's going on if you're not getting the proper assessment from the gatekeepers who are our physicians, doctors, nurses, medical professionals. Okay, so the update I have on my condition now, what I've been doing for my advocating, is that I had started to contact once again. This is I don't know how many times I have done this between 2010 and 11ish to now. I'm going all the way back to John McCain. God bless him, right? Passed away. John McCain, Ron Barber. Okay. Ron Barber was my congressperson at that time, right? We have, and then everybody in between that had short Congress positions. They were in, they were out. I've been through every one of them, every one. Okay, and then some. I was contacting people outside of my state to try to get the help because you guys could just imagine this. Imagine this. You're sitting somewhere watching TV, you start feeling sick, you start going through having some symptoms of dizziness, maybe shortness of breath, all these things, and you're actually losing motor function to a body part. You have no idea what's going on, and so you have an emergency. You don't know what's going on. Okay, so in your case, you're thinking, what in the heck is going on? Right? If you have not already figured it out and connected the dots, you're going to be pooping in your pants. Okay, so I've been through that. I don't know how many times until I finally started to connect the dots to figure out that I had two head injuries. A picture of a large bump on my head in Iraq, the Somebody thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. But those injuries cause severe damage to the inside of my brain. Okay, and so once I started to connect those dots, then and only then is when I really started to speak out for myself, because I knew it was not going to go anywhere. I started to figure out people's intentions when I went to see them, like doctors and nurses, and I was wondering why these people were in the medical profession, on the VA and outside the VA, were not treating me respectfully. I'll put it bluntly that way. They were treating me as though I was trying to fraud my medical condition. I even had at one point a doctor, a well-respected doctor, one of a kind here in Tucson, Arizona, Oro Valley, tell my spouse, right, that I'm lying straight to her face while I was there. The question is simple. Why can't, well, he says, I don't see anything wrong. The wife says, well, why can't he move then? What's going on? It's a simple question. Well, when he feels like, when he's ready to move his body parts, he'll do it. Right there. Okay, so I've been through it, people. I've been through the disrespect, the dismissive protocols, and so I started to piece all this together. And so I had to learn, what are the standard operating procedures that the VA has to take if you're in this sort of condition. Okay, so I started looking at traumatic brain injury. What is the protocol, right? What is my duty to how to report it? Well, so I've been down that road, and it leads me to today. So what has happened? So I have 85 to 90% dysfunctional motor movement throughout my body. And to give you an example, you can see that part of my face. It seems like I had a stroke, right? The B's and the N's, and I make it look good. I make it look easy because I'm living with it, so I have to deal with the intricacies of the speech, right? But so I had a tooth extracted because it was going bad, right? And the dentist that was taking it out, he just saw me as a tough guy, which I am a tough guy. But the guy gave me some numbing stuff, but didn't give me enough. So his attitude, well, let's just yank this thing out of his skull. And that's exactly what he did. And it was painful as hell. And so the aftermath, shortly after, I could feel a rush of my blood pressure and things were going wrong. I've already had experience losing motor function. I knew how I felt. So I was thinking, what's it going to be? It's going to be somewhere in my face. And sure enough, I lost function of a part of my face because the dentist didn't take the extra precaution to read into my file that the VA is not applying its proper procedures to annotate correct medical condition, in my case, to let other doctors know that this could be a very sensitive and damaging sort of medical condition, that if you maybe you irritate the central nervous system, the nerve, what have you, it could cause damage, more damage to his body. So that's what has been going on with me, is and that's the most unique part. This is the most unique part of my injury, the TBI, the traumatic brain injury, is that I have not heard. I've been doing research since 2012 intensely about someone that has what I had across the country, the world, pretty much, I have not found one single person that has exactly what's going on with me. If you have cancer and you have a specific kind of cancer and it's very rare, you're going to find something. Okay, you have a TBI, your very standard TBI, and if you do research, you're going to find something that somebody else has that you're going through. In my case, I have a unique situation, a medical situation where my medical condition is so strange. I want to call it strange because the worst part and the best part that I found interesting is that if I injure myself today, if I, let's say this arm here is my better arm, this one doesn't work. I'll get into that later. But so if I were to get hit in this arm, where the nervous system, the central nervous system, picks up on it and the brain decides to treat it like an injury, and it's beyond repair that your body can adjust to, it's going to shut it off. And that's what happens to me, whether it's a surgery, an injury, a fight, a car accident. If that's what happens to any part of my body, it will shut it down. The brain will shut it down. Now, how in the hell do you feel about that? I'm a walking. It feels like my nervous system is on the outside of my body. Okay, if you hit the nervous system, it's going to affect that area, and it's going to shut that movement down. And that's what happened with my right arm. Is I was bicycling because I was trying to stay healthy. I ended up overworking this whole lattice and arm, and also it created such aggravation is that I also had a injury here overseas, a combat injury that shocked the nerve, really hurt my hand and messed up parts of my wrist and my hand. So my hand was going numb, so I decided to get surgery on it to try to correct, to see if I can stop the progress of it going numb. Well, again, I wasn't fully aware of, because I'm not a doctor, I wasn't fully aware of the effects that the injury in my head is causing when I either get a surgery or I get re-injured or injured. So what happened is the nervous system, it was such a pervasive surgery, right, that the nervous system picked up on it, and once it gets to the part that's supposed to help fix it and maintain it, it gets rid of it because it's dysfunctional up here. It doesn't work properly. It doesn't help other cells produce chemicals and do all these other things that it's supposed to do to help the process of your body getting injured in specific areas. So it just shuts it down because that's what it does. It doesn't decide to shut it down. It can't decide whether to keep it moving or shut it down. It's broken. So it just cuts it off. It just won't work. So I'm a walking, this walking sensitive, I don't even know what to call it, central nervous system on the outside of my body. So you can, kick it with the stick, and I'll end up, it affects something on my body, and I will be done. I could die, right? If I got, in other words, if I got an injury and a car injury, and I hit my chest really hard, what do you think is going to happen to me? It probably won't even have to be that bad of an injury. All it has to be is enough for the central nervous system to treat it like it's a traumatic injury. Most of us can get through with that. Most of people will survive that and just have a bruise, or they're like, oh man, I hit my chest, and it's a typical a typical injury that people are able to deal with. Your body's able to deal with, not me. So who should be living in a bubble? I do. That's a very critical, severe injury that I have, people. It's severe, and I need as much help as I can get because I've been medically neglected through the VA since 2000, and I say 2010, 11-ish, when I started to connect the dots of what is going on with me. I haven't had a single gatekeeper, a doctor, that's what I call them, gatekeepers, because that's what they are in our community. I haven't had one single gatekeeper, a doctor, find interest. Think about what I just said. They are not finding any interest in what's going on with me. That is baffling. As a doctor, they're sort of scientists as well, right? If I was a doctor and I bumped into somebody that had the condition I have, I would make the best of that situation and learn from it and expose it as much as I can, because it's so unique. I would take so much interest in that, because that's what a doctor's supposed to do, right? Follow through with it and say, hey, man, that is a very strange process that you got going on there with these two head injuries that you had, and a back injury and other things, and that I have not seen that before. That's something that you write in the book, and you say, hey, let's pass this on, because not only is it unique, but I can be helping other people, right, that may come up with it later. Maybe they get it, a month from now. Maybe they get it tomorrow, and they're like, hey, this guy in Oro Valley, Arizona, had that similar situation. We've been trying to treat him with it. This is what's going on. But you know what's going on with me, folks? I get nothing. Goose egg. No one's helping me. They are medically neglecting the process, the standard operating procedure to manage my medical condition. They won't even give me a proper TBI assessment. I have doctors saying, how many times have I seen you, Sergeant De Leon? Why do they keep sending you to me? I told you you don't have a TBI. Can you guys believe that? After the shit that they can see that's not working on my body, there's a big red button right here in front of you. All around it are all these things that they have tried to figure out what's going on with me. They've tested for tick bites, that's Lyme disease, MS, all types of MS, diabetes, cancer. I mean, you name it. Parkinson's. All these syndromes. I've done it. But in the middle, there's a big red button that says traumatic brain injury. And this matches what I'm trying to explain to them. Hey, I was overseas. Oh, really? No, I was, really. I was there. So they have proof. They have some document of what's going on, but they're refusing to treat me for it, because that can now, is being kicked down the road, because gatekeepers in the beginning have put down, I don't know what it is. They put down their own personal views, and they're not going to have, another doctor that is seeing me after that is not going to step on that doctor's toes. They're not going to do it. They're not going to argue with them. They're not going to question them. They're not going to reevaluate me to say, yeah, doctor, you're wrong. This is what's going on with you, because of the accountability matter going on. Right? It's more than just saying, hey, doc, let's argue about it. No, it's too late for that now. It's too late. Now there's an accountability factor going on. Yes, a insurance SOP, right? A practice malfunction with a doctor, malpractice, malfeasance. I'd say it would be more of a malfeasance, right? Medical neglect, right? So here I am vamping. This is my best part, people. I am calling everybody in the Senate to help me. That is for Arizona. Calling them. I called them in 2011. I called them today. You know who has jumped to help me? No one. No Kirsten Sinema. Sinema, no John McCain, no Ron Barber. I even did some ads for Martha McSally to help her out with her campaign. Did she jump to it after I helped her? Nope, didn't. Who's the other ones? Mark Kelly hasn't even returned my phone call. If you're saying you're having, let's put it this way, folks. If you're saying you're having a heart attack on the phone, would you follow through with that call, or would you just hang up and say, "Oh, they'll take care of it"? That's what's happening to me. Okay, I'm losing more and more and more motor function. I'm trying to play safe over here to be, Mr. Don't bump into a wall, don't bang your head on the floor, because it could be the end of me. Yet, every single senator, every single one, whether they're Republican or Democrat, and people, I do not play this damn game of independent. You got to pick a side, especially when it comes to veterans. Okay? When it comes to veterans, there's no fucking independence. You can tell yourself whatever it is you're going to be. That's just an excuse for you to not make decisions and take action into things like what I'm dealing with. Oh, I'm independent, Kirsten Sinema. Oh, I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent now, so I don't have to be accountable for making a judgment call on something now. It's absurd. People, you have to pick a side. That hurts me. Right? Because then it's not their duty anymore. Yep, you're my senator. Yeah, but I'm independent now, so I'm not really in the game anymore. Right? That's a bunch of bullshit. You're either on the left or you're either on the right, and both of them can make it happen. But they don't. They refuse to. Congress people. I've been down every single congressperson here in town. The ones that I haven't contacted, I just know they're not going to lift a finger to even think about helping me. Like Raul Rahala. Who in the hell is that fool? Right? To my surprise, I'll probably call him. You jump on it. I'll be like, damn, I should have called you a long time ago. No way. Kirsten Sinema, you're a failure. John McCain, God bless you, but you're a failure. Mark Kelly, you're a failure. Martha McSally, you're a failure. Andy Biggs, I just got through contacting Andy Biggs. You know when he called me back? You're a failure. Right? What's the one that I had? I had an argument. I kept arguing with her staff. Debbie Lesko, arguing with her staff instead of them trying to figure out how to help me. Sergeant De Leon, critical matter, arguing with her staff instead of how the process works and what I'm supposed to do. Arguing over the phone. Debbie Lesko, you're a failure. I called the Veteran House Select Committee in Washington, D.C., people. The Veteran the Veteran Affairs Select Committee, right? They select certain people to be part of this committee to take control and oversight of veteran issues. I called them twice. The first time, nothing came back. The second time, I said, these got to be the people who will help me, because I have my own brothers and sisters in there. Guys that don't have legs, Navy SEALs, they've done really great. You're a failure. None of them followed through with it. I actually got a hold of somebody, I don't know who it was, I don't remember, said, we do not deal with individual cases. Can you fucking believe it? Unbelievable. And so to reduce my anger, to control my anger management to control my blood pressure, to control everything that I've already been through, I try not to argue with them anymore. The Veterans Select Committee on Veterans Affairs. The end of the road, people. That's the end of the road. Hey, can you help me? I haven't said, no, sir. No, Sergeant, we can't do that. We don't deal with individual cases. Son of a bitch. You see? Who are some of the other ones? I have our new congressperson. Ron Barber's not the new one, but Ron Barber, you're a double failure. Actually went to the office, they tried to sort it out, and then just dismissed it. Didn't follow through, didn't want to do anything. He leaves the Congress job, and I have to start from scratch with the next person. Right? So now I have a new congressperson. His name is Juan Ciscomani. Right? Juan, let me see if I'm pronouncing his name right. Ciscomani. Sounds promising? Called him three times now. The first time, hey, we're just getting our shit together here. I don't know how to respond to you, Sergeant Billy. Well, I mean, I'm trying not to be a sarcastic ass right now. But then why you answer the fucking phone? Right? It's like the suicide hotline. Right? You're just getting started, but you're the suicide hotline. What do? Hey, well, we get our shit together, I'll call you back. So, Juan Ciscomani, right? Okay, folks, so Juan Ciscomani. This is where you can help me. All right? I want to put the pressure on these people and make them accountable. Even though this guy just started, he's going to hit the ground running. If you're in the job, people, if you're in the job, there's no forgiveness. You're getting paid. Your responsibility is to go over and above, especially if you're dealing with something like veteran issues. Right? Veteran issues. And, again, let's point out, critical health issue. Not like it's critical, but, I can deal with it in 6 months. Give me a call back, please. No, shit, no. I'm calling you because I have a situation that's in progression. It's a TB. I don't know if I'm going to have a stroke tomorrow. How would you know I'm not? Are you a freaking doctor? And by the way, no doctors have been helping me anyways. Our gatekeepers have gone to lunch. Right? So I have Juan Ciscomani. All right? This is where you can help me out. Tucson District Office. Juan Ciscomani. You guys can really help me out by calling this person and say, look, forward him the video. I don't know if you can help me out. It would help me. 1636 North Swan Road, Suite 200. Phone number 520-881-3588. That's 520-881-3588. It's on Swan Road here in Tucson, Arizona. All right. I just called the guy. I said, I called you guys twice. This kid answered. You could tell he's a young guy, young lad. Oh, yes, sir. Hey, let's just get down. I called you guys. I got no correspondence. The last time you said that Juan was going to call me. You do not mess around, people, if you're working under somebody else's responsibility. That is rule number one. How do you put yourself out there and take accountability for somebody else's responsibility if you don't know. Okay, you should not be making promises under somebody else's coattail at all, especially in a situation where somebody has a medical condition that is crucial and needs to be addressed immediately. How in the hell do you make that sort of statement? We're gonna have oh yeah, he's gonna call you back. Do not do that. All right, that should be a serious. I mean, I'm almost thinking that should be against the law, man. You know. So I called him, and I said, I've been calling you guys' office. Do you have any information that I called? Yes, it shows here that you called. Okay. Well, again, here's well, what is it that you're crying about? You know, that's what he wants to say. I need to talk to Juan, and you guys said that he was supposed to call me. This is a sensitive matter. This isn't a privilege matter. I don't feel I'm privileged to get a call from Juan Ciscomani. I'm trying to collect on a responsibility. Right? So the guy, after the 2 calls, this guy says, well, you have to email our Veterans Affairs, what did he call her? It's a female, associate or something in that matter. I said, wait a minute. You didn't tell me this before. If I would have known that, I would have had the job done already. Oh, well, sir, that she just got hired, he said. Do you see what's going on here? No leadership, people. When you have a medical condition that is critical and you're going through it, real time, you're on it, at hand. There's no fucking around. Who in the hell do you think you are? Is it not important enough to say, well, hold on, what do you mean by critical? I mean, like, I'm losing motor function as we talk. I don't know what's going on with my body, but I think it would be of interest to not leave this soldier behind, and that's exactly what's going on with me, people. I've been left behind by the federal government to treat me for a service-connected injuries. Can you believe it? I can start shoving this. I can start shoving I did my duty into your face. But I'm not going to do that. Okay? Because what I need are people like yourselves to contact the number I gave you, Juan Ciscomani, and say, look, this is a short thing, but this guy has a situation. He's been crying for help since 2011. He must be getting bad if he's on the freaking website talking about he needs help. He must be going through a situation where, I'm uncomfortable. I'm not secure with what's going on. There comes a certain point, people, it's kind of like the people with cancer. They know when they're going to die, right? So I don't feel good enough to just let this go by a few days. I need to get this shit in order now. All right? I need the medical management. I need the benefits. I need the evaluation. I need the diagnosis. And I need to stop having these dum-dums at the VA not being able or hiding behind their standard operating procedures. You question them, and that's the standard. That's you just hiding behind it. Where's the leadership? Where's the decision makers? Right? how to forward a sensitive case to someone who can make the decision. I'm calling the wrong people, right? I have given up on our medical community, the doctors, the gatekeepers. They're one of the worst, especially working for the federal government. So that's what I have on that situation. I've found long enough on that situation. So that number I call, Juan Ciscomani, you guys, please help. I'm just looking for some assistance. If you guys want to be part of, helping a veteran sustained injury and has helped you guys help, pay that time, right? I mean, help me out. Reciprocal. The door swings both ways, and it would be a great thing to be part of something to help a veteran. You can claim it. I'll put you on my website. All your names on there saying, hey, these people helped me. They jumped to the cause. Okay? You leave everything else up to the VA. If they want to classify me as a fraud, then let's see them do it. Do something. So that's what I have. And I have her email, so let me give you her email. Her email is Carla, Karla dot ESCAMILLA S Camilla ESCAMILLA at mail.house.gov. In the subject line, you put casework. Sergeant De Leon, DELEON, critical matter. Okay? And you just say, look, this guy is needing help. He's a veteran. We're paying the bill. He's getting the runaround. We're wasting money. What are you guys doing? What are you not doing? Why can't he get a diagnosis? If it looks like a duck, sounds like a duck, it's a damn duck. Give it to him. The dude's dying. I'm not doing well. I'm thankful for all the stuff that I have today, that I have fought for. Every single thing, people. Not one thing has been given to me. Medication. Anything I have for diabetes, I got diabetes. Anything I have that is medically needed, wheelchairs, I have struggled to fight to get it because the VA they will not diagnose me in order to claim that I need that product. Impossible. I'm in this purgatory catch-22 situation, and they don't give a damn. They say they give a damn, but I have not seen it, and they won't convince me because they're all about the protocol. They hide behind the protocol, people. And if the protocol says, hey, I just followed what they were telling me to say, and it keeps going up and up and up and up until it stops somewhere, and nothing gets done. They give those people promotions instead of firing them for doing wrong. So that's what I got. So I need you guys' help. Thanks for paying attention. I try to do these videos, and I want to get into some political stuff that we're dealing with every day, right? Stuff that we're arguing with at the kitchen table. Just absurd issues like the transgender thing. It's a completely off the table issue that we shouldn't be arguing about. Isn't there things in place already to deal with people who have an illness? That's an illness. Right? It's an illness. Teaching your kids without parents' authority. I mean, come on. There are things in place already to deal with that. Why are they finding a loophole or going around that? Who's in charge? Besides the parents, but how is that possible? There are things in place to stop that from happening already. It's been like that. So how did they get around it? Right? Simple things, folks. But I guess when you got you know, you have folks who are in charge who lack the leadership in everything, decision making, management, expectation of following standard operating procedures, you're going to have a lot of problems. And that's what we have right now. But it's something that we can fix. It's something that we can deal with as long as we the fundamentals of dealing with it, right? It makes good news. It makes for good news, right? It does. But other than that, things have already been in place to deal with these things, and I find it hard to put it together that no one brings them up. You know, there's clauses, there's rules, there's laws, there's all these things that they can reference and say, you know, you can't do that. Why? Because of code, so and so, law, so and so. You can't do that. Let's start there instead of arguing about, you know, all this woke stuff and we're going around this and we got to do this and we're doing this without the parents' permission. Oh, they, you know, transgender this or medicine for that, and they shouldn't be getting it. You know, no. I mean, it almost seems as by design. It does, right? It does. I mean, most things are I believe most things are decided behind closed doors already before we even get a whiff of it, right? Like the Hunter Biden situation with Joe Biden's son. That situation has already been dealt with. We're getting the regurgitation of making it entertaining. Okay? Yeah, there's probably little things here like he's got to go to court or something, but most of it's already decided. Right? Because they can't rock the boat because they're in the same boat. So, but you know, once you start messing with the people, there comes a point where they're just not going to take it. They're not going to take it sitting down or standing up. They're going to say, you know, you guys have played long enough in the playground. It's time to stop and, you know, get real with it. So that's what I have on that. But thanks for paying attention. And Juan Siscomani is my congressperson for, I think I'm in CD6 now, with CD1, CD2, CD6, I don't know, but he is a person that is, you know, everyone's going to reference to deal with my case. So if I call Kirsten Sinema, she's going to say, hey, your congressperson is Siscomani, and everything's going to be funneled through that guy, whether I know it or not. Right? And I'll be damned. I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm trying to get in person, everything done face to face. So that way I can chew them out. That way I can be the leader of my own faith. Because I know what's going to happen. Right? Are you afraid to argue with the doctor and tell him he's full of shit? I'm not. It's my duty to do that. So, thanks for paying attention. I will be on with an update. Once again, I'll let you guys know what the progress is. You know, I may just come alive, right? I may like everything ends and they're like, oh, see, he was faking the whole time. So I will keep you guys up to date on what's happening with my medical situation. And God bless you guys. Thanks for paying attention. I know it went on a little bit, but I will speak to you.